Somebody's getting it, somebody's getting my love. Somebody's getting it, Hi there, my name is Anne Spencer and welcome to a relatively new channel for physical and mental well-being. Well, it's a whole package really, isn't it? A whole combination. A bit like when you're first attracted to someone, you know, it's not just one thing, is it? You know, you can't quite put your finger on it. It's chemistry, all working together, senses and feelings. Yeah. And that is exactly the way in which the heart and the brain works together. It's a chemistry of senses and feelings. So a diverse subject, of course, and it will be open to many aspects, different subjects and topics coming up. Practitioners helping us with interesting facts, all relative to mastering. Good strong word there. Mastering your mindset. Just your mind. To find and hopefully and most importantly sustain a more positive and ultimately productive lifestyle for you. Doesn't matter what age you are or what you're doing, career-wise, hobby-wise, your whole lifestyle. This will help enhance everything that you already do. Or if you're trying to focus on pastures new and you have to develop new ways of coping and doing so that you can achieve those goals. You know, if we're really wanting to change a bit of reality, we do have to change our personal reality. And that is a bit of a fact. So what's right with you? Someone said that to me. What's right with you, Anne? To answer that, I couldn't actually come up with anything. And how bad is that? It's all too often that we'd rather find things that are wrong or see things that are wrong and decide to dwell and wrestle on those for hours and maybe sometimes days. You've got to stop that. There lies the first lesson. Of course, on a serious note, as we adhere to the guidelines of lockdown and the result, dare I say, the severity of isolation we find ourselves in makes life and a lot of things even more difficult. More difficult than the best of times, but what better time to become more mindful and take care of our mental state. But how do we do this? Well, you've started already really by tuning in, talking about your feelings. Okay, I know it's me that's doing most of the talking, right? But you will ultimately talk to the people, to friends and family, communicate, keep in touch, and nothing more important than that at the moment to keep in touch. You can make that call, you know. Strange as it is, we're not literally able to connect, but I feel that we're connecting a lot more overall in this. So I really want to help you support you through finding all that inner confidence and strength to make those changes. That's why I'm compelled. Well, or I am compelled, because it does make all the difference, and it's made the difference to me. Listen, if we really look around, I mean, like literally look around at your own, I don't know, your timeline, Twitter if you have one, all those social media things, and, well, TV, everything, radio, you might have noticed that they are making strides have really been made to destigmatizing mental health. And that's bloody fantastic, because so many of us hold too much within, too much stuff in our heads, thinking we have to sort it all out alone, and that we're the only ones that are unable to cope with it, and we're the only ones vulnerable. But that's the first lesson. You've got to stop that, because it's not true. We're all in this together. Treating your mental health as you would your physical health is pretty well accepted these days as a principle. And thank God, less taboo. It started for me about 10 years ago, I suppose, maybe more. And it's changing things that were not really serving me all that well, you know. I had to take more of an action than just write things down. I used to journal a lot. People told me, or I read that it's a good idea to do that. And it actually is, because you can see things on paper and think, well, you know, how am I dealing with that? What am I doing? But I had to really then take more action. You know, we face situations, all of us do, good and bad. breakdowns, families, sense of loss. And really, if we allow that to fester, which is the big thing, that's when it becomes overwhelming. So during the most difficult times for me, if I was finding I was major fatigued, bad sleeping, it's a catch-22 when you're sort of really anxious and you're just feeling wiped out, collective, and you can't really focus on anything else. So I had to do more for me, really. Nobody else was going to do that for me. Nobody can. So that's when I was browsing about the internet, found a few chats. I did find a lot of people who cheered me up, and that gave me a sense of comfort. So the minute you have that, you start to even feel differently about yourself and things become clearer. Russell Brand was one. Should I mention him? Should I advertise? Well, too late now. But I was reading a lot of different stuff, but also at the same time, I had made my mind up to, and my husband was probably a catalyst for that, to leave my full-time job in administration and go back to what I really wanted to do all my life, acting and performance. And there you go. I'd worked with a letting company. It wasn't that the company was bad. I can't even remember the name of that. I probably can't mention that anyway, but that doesn't matter. But I don't want to say it was just not fulfilling, but there was something amiss. Something amiss when, I suppose we have a bit of a blueprint of what we've always wanted, and if you're not meeting that, you're feeling anxious because it's just slipping away. I don't want to sound too dramatic there, but at the end of the day, I couldn't wait till I was 80. That would just be too old. I mean, I don't think they give you funding for college then, but I was 53 at the time. Moving on to a big birthday, actually, next year, 2021. But hey, time moves fast, let's face it. So, audition. My audition was Joan of Arc. No better. Had it sussed, had it memorised. But when I went there for the audition, my legs turned to jelly. I remembered the lines, but they weren't coming out like Joan of Arc would have done them. No way. I mean, as far as I was concerned, I think she was pretty fearless. Well, when I was delivering, there was a hell of a lot of fear coming out there. Okay, they must have realised that there's the potential in this one, so we'll take her on. So I got past that audition, which is brilliant, and really down the line, I was very much exposed. That's what they do. They help expose yourself. I don't mean that you're exposing everything, physically, but it allowed me to open up more to the performance work, to authenticate my characters. It's a bit of a psychology, a science of psychology when you're trying to get into characters. The ones that I was trying to perform. I mean, Lady Macbeth being one and Titania being another. The average little punter trying to be a queen or a fairy, the queen of the fairies, that can be quite hard. But you know what? The challenge was on, and I moved and I did it. Bring on Titania. So with Titania taking the lead, I was really, really being opened up to my feelings and my sense of vulnerability. In fact, that was encouraged. The more vulnerable I became, the more successful I was. Isn't that strange? Just showing what I was or what I felt being that character. I suppose I became uninhibited. That's what it was. I was uninhibited. And I guess suddenly I thought to myself, well, there's nothing really to lose, is there? There's nothing to lose. Because people are wanting to see so much of you. You can't go wrong. The more you went wrong in terms of being nervous and stuttering or reaching out to areas where you shouldn't reach out, making mistakes, that was wanted, that was needed for the reality to look real, because that is real. We all move in the wrong direction sometimes. We all say the wrong things. We all look nervous and anxious. But it's when we then deal with that that makes the big difference. So this was me opening up to comparing that, really, if you like, comparing to acting to real life, because it should be real life. And then learning not to fear, quite simply. Learning to know that we're all vulnerable in our human experience, so to speak. And it's vital to improving how we feel mentally and then ultimately physically. It's connected, the mind-body coherence, which hopefully down the line, if you continue on this little channel with me, I'll be talking about that connection between mind and body and the big difference it actually makes to the way in which our brain responds. But when at the beginning, before I was reaching the stage of like, right, let's get this all together, I was looking and researching information, and there certainly is no shortage of self-care strategies, there's just loads out there. At a cost, of course. I mean, you've got African and French wellness retreats, but they look bloody amazing as well. And then there's horse therapy. I mean, I didn't even know that. What a beautiful animal. It helps you with stress tolerance and empathy, and I suppose to be a better person, just being around an animal, but being around that powerful, maybe that's how it works, the powerfulness of that horse and just connecting with it and being alive in the same planet. That's quite dramatic. But even down to crystals, I mean, everyone's trying everything. Crystals that may or may not chill you out, although they do look lovely sparkling in the sun. Well, I did buy one actually. Very nice. So, not everyone there, including me, has the time or the money to spend on those particular things. Well, maybe the crystals, yeah. But the truth is, feeling down or depressed, and I don't want to use the word depressed too loosely, I understand the seriousness of that, but there's different levels, of course, but when it comes to actually being mentally well, I think we're all a little hazy on being mindful and knowing how to take our feelings and knowing that these feelings are normal. It's not unusual. And even at the best of times, we will have these occasions for feeling down. So what is important and what does make the difference is being aware. And those feelings, they are to be believed, but you want to kind of play with them. And when I say play, I mean, make more light of it. If you're feeling really anxious, just distract from that. That was my method anyway, initially. Distracting and just taking that time. I mean, at the college at the time, I was given a big challenge to read a book a week. I don't know if I managed to do it, but flipping heck. Certainly stopped me watching my Netflix films. But I persevered because that's what you have to do, and it made a massive impact on me. My health, my thoughts clearer. I mean, I was more willing. And that's another thing, more willing. Don't get me wrong, I had that purpose. And at that point, that purpose was being Titania, the Queen of the Fairies. But I was injecting a little bit of her, Titania, into my daily life without even realising it. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't flutting around with a pair of wings in Asda and Tesco with a bottle of HP sauce in my hand, reciting Shakespeare. No, quite a vision that, isn't it? Quite a vision. But I was inwardly reacting to the self-belief that was being created. I felt capable of changing. That was all it was, just more capable. And because of that, my thoughts and my reactions to situations were less stressful. And it didn't matter a jot as it used to. Because each of us are unique as well. And obviously you know that. But we don't, or we think we know it, but we don't. We sometimes make the comparisons, and that sort of removes us from knowing that we are individual. And I don't mean that you should inject a little bit of fairy into your life. Well, you can if you like. I mean, if that helps. Fairy dust goes a long way, I've heard. It's belief, you see. It's belief. But I do think, well, you should try and think about things that make you feel good. Think about things you enjoy when you're on holiday. Then inject a little of that into your daily life. Like I sometimes remember New York and that Brooklyn Bridge, romance. Yeah, hence the picture, of course. But, just using your imagination and focusing. It's like simply using our thoughts, or our thoughts make of things, don't they? They make things happen. So re-script, excuse the pun there, all relative to acting. Re-script, learn new skills, boost everything. Your confidence is boost. Raise yourself. And when you do, or when I did, that helped with my whole sense of purpose. I could connect to others openly. My imagination was helping me through various things like, dare I say this, and this is what you must do, meditation. And don't roll your eyes. Some of you will. Well, you've not tried it yet, at least. Listen, I felt similar at the beginning because I didn't think I knew what it was about or even if I could do it. But quite simply, it's about finding a quiet space for yourself to ponder little thoughts. Ponder your own personal thoughts and try to distract yourself. Think of those things you did on holiday. Think of something that makes you feel good. Paying attention to your present moment is all you need to do, especially at this moment. There is no conclusion to anything in life, and particularly in this situation. So the present moment matters to make the most of it. You can improve your mental well-being through this. This includes your thoughts and your feelings and your body and the world around you. And let me just vouch, once you start, you will become addicted to meditation. Not that you spend all day doing it, but you can drop anything just for 5 to 10 minutes. A great start to kickstart your day by doing it in the morning when you first wake up. Try that, even getting up a little bit earlier. If you have the time now that we can sleep a little bit longer actually, use some of that time to do that. The results that from that meditation, you enjoy your life much more. You understand yourself better. And it really positively changes the way you feel about your life and everybody else's and how you approach situations and all those challenges. It's a kind of resilience we build up. It's a greater strength. And who wouldn't want that? That's why I want to do this channel, to share that. Anyway, I hope you have still been listening to me and you didn't just cut me off there. Sometimes I ramble and digress, but we will go on to the next time where I will define presence a little bit more because I touched on those areas just to give you an idea of what's going to go on. But I will define them more, introduce you to someone who's called Patsy Rodenberg, who is a voice practitioner when I was studying and who really did start me on this sort of train of thought. So thank you for tuning in. But to leave you with one other thing, and I researched this, and it is a scientific fact, it was objective. 90% of our thoughts are the same thoughts we have each day. That is ridiculous. So let's try and take 2 thoughts that you want to change. Decide what belongs in your future, and if those thoughts keep filtering in there, take them back out. Take them back out and replace it with something else, something you like. Well, the process of change does require a bit of continual just holding fast and becoming conscious of your unconscious. Yeah, quite deep that, but it's simple too. So drop me a line, funny or otherwise, and I hope you can join me the next time. I really do. And remember, if you fancy just visualising yourself as a fairy, sometimes it works. And why not? Letting go of yourself is really very liberating. Well, I'll sign off for now, or rather fly off, and I really hope you can join me the next time. Thanks. Bye.